Hello and welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host Gemma and today I'll be taking you through Beetlejuice Cartoon Explored. Most people nowadays are aware of Beetlejuice thanks to the viral TikTok trend that was a big thing back in 2021. Beetlejuice garnered quite some popularity with content creators using the lines to do crazy makeup transitions or cosplays. Most people are aware of the movie Beetlejuice, starring Michael Keaton as the iconic ghost. But today we are here to talk about the spooky, twisted and hilarious Emmy Award winning cartoon based on the movie, which was released in the early 90s. Beetlejuice, the animated series, is a roller coaster ride that focuses on Beetlejuice and his human best friend Lydia. So without further ado, let's embark on our journey through the netherworld, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Beetlejuice, the animated series. Based on Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, the cartoon series was written by Patsy Cameron and Ted Anansi. Tim Burton himself executively produced the series, and his remarkable style of gothic horror content really shows through. The series ran from September 9th, 1989 to October 26, 1991 on ABC, and from September 9th, 1991 to December 6, 1991 on Fox Kids. It had 4 seasons, which amounted to 94 episodes, 109 segments. Unlike the plot of the movie, which focused on the Dietz family and Beetlejuice helping them evict people from their old home after their death, the show barely has any appearances from the married couple who were the protagonists of the movie. The animated series episodes are centered around the adventures of Beetlejuice and his human best friend Lydia in the Netherworld, and sometimes the Mortal World, which was a New England town called Peaceful Pines. Just like in the movie, Beetlejuice can be summoned by Lydia after calling out his name 3 times. Beetlejuice often tried to prank and scam the residents of the Netherworld and the Mortal World, playing different weird pranks on them. The ghost with the most, as Beetlejuice liked to call himself, would often break the 4th wall and ask the viewers, for me, something that happened right at the beginning of the first episode. The series had puns for days. Sometimes I wonder if the series was made just so they could put in all these puns, which are hilarious, but also make you want to roll your eyes. While the Beetlejuice from the movie didn't have too many powers, the now kid-friendly Beetlejuice of the animated series could do so many things, most of which he employed just to prank others. He would shapeshift into almost anything, often leading to some hilarious results due to his careless use of powers. Lydia often tends to travel to the Netherworld herself and is quite the quirky goth girl, keeping Beetlejuice in line. It isn't surprising that the series won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program in 1990.
Do a good deed, that's just the way I am.
Exploring the first few episodes and the story of Beetlejuice. The series premiere is titled Critter Sitters. It starts with both Beetlejuice and Lydia singing the Day-O song in their respective worlds, which is a reference to the live-action movie. Lydia summons Beetlejuice by reciting a special incantation and informs him that she will be babysitting little Arlo. This gives Beetlejuice the idea to start babysitting himself, as it was a good chance for him to make money so he could buy a present for Lydia. Back in the Netherworld, he is given the responsibility of babysitting the Nether babies, Little Gooey, Porcupine Baby, and Great Huge Baby. In a very Beetlejuice humour style, he actually sits on the baby's Beetlejuice Babysitting 101. We all know Beetlejuice might be a great prankster, but he definitely isn't a great babysitter. Soon, he has to enlist Lydia to help him, and Lydia and Arlo go to the Netherworld with Beetlejuice. And as if things couldn't get worse, Beetlejuice casually says, "I was a baby," and his powers turns him into an actual baby. Baby Beetlejuice and the Nether babies play together and decide to run off to the shopping mall and cause a lot of trouble and mess. Lydia tries very hard to make Beetlejuice say the words, "Beetlejuice is an adult again." After numerous failed attempts, she manages to succeed. Beetlejuice is finally back to his old self, but the Nether police arrives and Beetlejuice is taken to trial at the Nether court for all the mischief he caused. Unsurprisingly, Beetlejuice is found guilty, and just as Mr. Nether the torture is about to pull the guilty lever, Lydia and Arnlo arrive, and Lydia manages to prove Beetlejuice innocent. The judge rules Beetlejuice innocent, and Mr. Nether Torture pulls the innocent lever. A happy Beetlejuice tap dances as he's now a free man again, but noticing that the judge is unhappy, he decides to tell the truth about the incident and the Nether babies. Mr. Nether Torture pulls the guilty lever, and Beetlejuice hangs onto the cage bars to avoid being eaten by the sandworms below. Lydia calls out to the great huge baby, and it lifts the Nether court ceiling and pulls Beetlejuice's cage to safety. One of the sandworms buries through the floor, but the great huge baby takes the judge's gravel and hits the sandworm, causing it to run away. Lydia yet again vouches for Beetlejuice and asks for him to be given a second chance. The judge releases Beetlejuice and he is free. The Nether attorney orders Beetlejuice to pay for all the mischief he caused, but he just snaps his fingers, and the Nether babies arrive to cause mischief for Nether attorney. Beetlejuice and Lydia finally celebrate and hug each other as Beetlejuice spins his head and Lydia laughs. The next episode, titled The Big Face-Off, follows Lydia and Beetlejuice on another adventure as they try to win a game show. It all began one fine day when Beetlejuice is seen lounging in Lydia's room and planning to save her a bug when Lydia jumps on the bed and causes the bug to fall out of Beetlejuice's hand. The resulting commotion wakes Lydia's father, Charles, who comes to check up on her. Beetlejuice decides to make a scary face, but Charles does not notice, thinking he might be having a strange dream, and walks away. This incident causes Beetlejuice to be disappointed that Charles wasn't scared of his face. He decides to return to the Netherworld and sulks before Lydia arrives and suggests that they take part in the 24-hour Gross Out game show. Beetlejuice is reluctant to enter as he believes he's not scary anymore and doesn't even smell as bad, to which Lydia assures him that he really does. The duo finally enters the show and their opponents are returning champions Humphrey and Hannah Scuzimoto. The host, Barf Biffman, spins the Gross Out category wheel and the first round is synchronized slime swimming. Humphrey and Hannah are the first to go, but their routine doesn't go well and they fail to impress the audience. Beetlejuice and Lydia are kicked into the pool and the audience is impressed by a sprout of slime coming out of Beetlejuice's mouth, which earns them the Gross Out. The next round is muck sucking, where the contestants have to drink a massive glass of muck through a straw. As the race begins, Humphrey quickly takes the lead, and as Lydia urges Beetlejuice to do something, he discreetly kicks Hannah to the bottom of the glass, causing her to be sucked into the straw. Somehow, Humphrey gets sucked in as well, and the straw explodes, spewing muck everywhere, including the audience, and surprisingly, this earns Humphrey and Hannah a Gross Out. The game goes on for a long time, and the teams are tied after 8 rounds of grossness. The final round begins, and much to Beetlejuice's bad luck, the category is Funny Faces. The grand prize for the winning team is announced, which is a 2-week scream vacation to the Geek Islands. The two teams prepare for the final round as Beetlejuice and Humphrey step into a boxing ring. Beetlejuice goes first and makes his peeper creeper face, but Humphrey is unaffected as he makes an even bigger face, which makes his eyes explode, called the Bloodshot Beach Ball face. Lydia encourages Beetlejuice to make his best scary face, the one he had made in her bedroom, called the Lung Tosser. This scheme also fails as Humphrey makes an even bigger and uglier face. Finally, Lydia whispers an idea to Beetlejuice and he makes the final face, which we can't see, but it scares everyone, including the host, and grosses out the crowd, earning Lydia and Beetlejuice the win. As the duo exit, it is finally revealed that the face Beetlejuice made was Charles' half sleepy and ragged, unshaven face, as he admits he had help from a friend. Episode 3, titled Skeletons in a Closet, brings another adventure for our enigmatic duo. On a stormy day, a baby skunk ends up in Lydia's bedroom. Beetlejuice likes the little stinker, and although Lydia doesn't, she still decides to give him shelter from the storm. Beetlejuice reminds her of what her mother, Delia, had mentioned about not bringing any worms or animals into the house. At that very moment, Delia and Charles knock on Lydia's door. She hides Beetlejuice and the skunk in her closet. Her parents notice the terrible smell, but she plays it off as trying perfume for her father. Deciding that the skunk, who is now dubbed Stinky, can't be kept a secret very long, the duo decides to take it to Netherworld. More problems arise, as when Netherworld denizens lie, they get skeletons in their closets. Beetlejuice's closet is overflowing at this point. He tells a few too many and his closet bursts, releasing all the skeletons. The skeleton immediately run away and start disclosing the truth behind Beetlejuice's lies, making many people angry with him. One skeleton escapes to the mortal world to tell the truth to Lydia's parents. The only way to stop the skeleton is to tell the truth about something. Lydia simply asks Beetlejuice who his best friend is, and he answers with her name. The skeletons disappear. The episode ends with Lydia and Beetlejuice releasing Stinky back into the world. This episode was also one of the 3 episodes featured in the movie's 20th anniversary DVD and Blu-ray. Similarly, further episodes of the series showcase various adventures, big and small, extremely hilarious, which happen in Beetlejuice and Lydia's life. From pranking Lydia's parents to Lydia's cat, Percy, being kidnapped by witches, and much more. The duo is a joy to watch, especially Beetlejuice, who makes hilarious puns and pulls god-awful pranks on everybody, most of them on himself.
You can't shake me up! All you have to do is say thanks.
Looking at the major protagonist of the series, Lydia and Beetlejuice are the series' main protagonists, with Beetlejuice being the titular character. They are accompanied by many supporting characters like Lydia's parents and the other residents of the Netherworld. Beetlejuice is a ghost and one half of the enigmatic duo of the show. He is renowned as a prankster in the Netherworld and is often seen asking for money from the audience. He is the oldest son of Nat and Beejuice and has a cheerful younger brother called Donnyjuice. Beetlejuice's personality is quite different from his parents, as his mother is a neat freak and his father is a workaholic, and they constantly nag him to get a job and be clean. Beetlejuice was named after the star Betelgeuse, the 10th brightest star in the sky. Beetlejuice describes his source of magic as his juice. He has the power to change shape, transform into anything, conjure objects, teleport to other places, etc. Although these powers don't always work out in his favour. Whenever Beetlejuice utters a phrase out loud, he or his surroundings can change because of his erratic powers. In all his transformations, the patent black and white pattern of the suit he wears is present. Beetlejuice is considered to have the most power among the Netherworld Denzians and is titled the Ghost with the Most, which is another reference from the movie. He does not hesitate to prank anyone and everyone is fair game. His pranks usually cause a lot of embarrassment or mess, but his jokes on Lydia are only to tease her and never harm her. Beetlejuice cares a great deal for Lydia and even mentions he would do anything for her, a sentiment that Lydia reciprocates. The duo is truly the best of friends. Lydia also had a great deal of influence on Beetlejuice. Unlike the Beetlejuice in the movie, which was something of a perv and characterized as a villain, the cartoon Beetlejuice is just mischievous and hilarious without any evil intent. Sometimes Beetlejuice's body parts gain control of themselves and tend to abandon him and do random things that Beetlejuice has no control over. Beetlejuice can be described as a conman who comes with get-rich-quick schemes instead of getting a job. He is often scolded by Lydia, but his greediness makes him not want to give up his schemes. He loves eating all sorts of insects, especially beetles and worms. He abhors baths and loves being filthy. Even though he has a childish attitude, he is pretty philosophical, as he often recites quotes of humanitarian importance. He hates anything cute or clean. He is terrified of sandworms to the extent that he can't even use his powers when he encounters them. He usually expresses his likes or dislikes by using variations of a single catchphrase like "nerd humor, you know I love it," or "rules, you know I hate them." Despite his fear of sandworms, he manages to overcome them and fight them if someone is in danger. Thanks to his powers of transformation, he is able to interact with Lydia's parents on various occasions under the guise of Mr. Beetleman, and even able to transform his gender and becomes a teenage girl named Bettyjuice, and sometimes a male cousin BJ, all related to Mr. Beetleman. He is voiced by Stephen Umiti. Lydia Dietz is a goth girl and Beetlejuice's best friend in her teens. She is the more rational half of the duo. She loves reading classic books by authors like Edgar Allan Poe, Stephen King, and more. She is very lively and bright and has a unique outlook on life. She is very different from other schoolgirls, making her stand out, resulting in her being alone in the world and without any friends. She finds solace in her closest friend, Beetlejuice, and often spends time with him in the Netherworld, where they go on fun adventures, and she's accepted as she is and never discriminated against. Her regular outfit includes a long purple top, black leggings, and black shoes. When she visits the Netherworld, she dons a spider web pattern poncho over a black unitard. Lydia is also a talented photographer and artist. She has a natural love and affinity for scary and weird things, and celebrates all things strange and unusual, making her fit right in with the denizens of the Netherworld. She is an amiable and well-mannered girl who cares immensely for others, especially Beetlejuice, whom she always encourages when he's down. She's pretty responsible and mature for her age. She cares deeply about environmental issues and once even chained herself to a tree to save it from being cut down. She's also shown to be knowledgeable about mechanical things and cars. She attends Miss Shannon's School for Girls and is in the 7th grade. The pilot episode reveals that Beetlejuice and Lydia have already known each other for a year. Beetlejuice often uses nicknames like Lids or Babes rather than calling her Lydia, and only uses her full name sometimes. Lydia is loved by almost everyone in the Netherworld and even received the award for the cutest mortal to ever visit the Netherworld. Lydia cares for Beetlejuice and even greatly admires his sense of humour. Lydia credits Beetlejuice for her current personality and believes that if they hadn't met, she would probably be a social recluse and not have the guts to stand up to her school bully Claire Brewster. In one of the episodes, Lydia is transported into Beetlejuice's mind and finds that he has a working shrine in her honour inside his head. She even gives a donation to the maintenance of the shrine. She has only ever shown romantic interest in Prince Vince, but it soon turned into a friendship. She is voiced by Alison Court. Beetlejuice and Lydia are often accompanied by supporting characters like Charles and Delia. They are Lydia's parents and Netherworldensians like Jacques Leline and French Skeleton, Ginger, the tap dancing spider, Poopsie, and more.
The screws are loose.
Marvellous verdict. My love for Beetlejuice began as a 12-year-old when I watched the movie starring Michael Keaton. The movie had me absolutely hooked, and when I later learned about the cartoon, I wasted no time and straight away got into watching it. The film and the cartoon hardly have any similarities, but that doesn't make the cartoon any less lovable. Beetlejuice and Lydia's friendship is practically so wholesome that you tend to forget that Beetlejuice is a filthy ghost conman. Tim Burton's influence shines through in the animated series, and fans love that fact. The animation quality is excellent, especially considering this was a late 80s, early 90s cartoon. When compared to other Saturday morning shows at the time, the animation quality was outstanding. They even used CGI years before it became widespread. The writing has also been splendid, and the episodes keep the watchers hooked. True, the comedy focuses heavily on puns and sight gags, so if you're not into that, this isn't for you. They are, nevertheless, excellent puns and sight gags. The show is a worthy successor to the movie, and there are plenty of parodies and pop culture references that you've got to love. The character design is splendid, and they all look adorable, especially Lydia, who looks much different from her movie version. Every episode has a different adventure that takes the viewers around various aspects of Lydia and Beetlejuice's lives. The show is meant for children and adults alike, and no one will be bored watching Beetlejuice's antics. If Beetlejuice is the ghost with the most, then the animated series can definitely be called the cartoon with the most. I can keep gushing about my love for Beetlejuice and his pranks for a long time, but what the audience really wants is a comeback. There have been talks of a sequel for years now without any concrete information, but the good news for the fans is there is a sequel in the negotiations, with Brad Pitt's production company Plan B boarding Beetlejuice 2. With a deadline being confirmed as well, Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton are said to be returning to reprise their roles as Lydia and Beetlejuice, and a possible appearance of Johnny Depp. With some positive news for the movie, one can indeed pray they bring back the much-loved animated series, because today's animation can give Beetlejuice's adventures a whole new level, and they would be a delight to watch. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
Beetlejuice!
Ah!